father's dream, I myself was perfectly thrilled and willing to go along. Pa's plan? To pack up all 3 generations of the King family and strike out for Oregon, there to claim good lands and build new homes. Splendid! But as for the part about me riding in Roland's wagon, I want to say right off that it wasn't my idea, nor was I pleased with the notion. In fact, the minute my mother let on this was Pa's intention, I jumped up from my spinning wheel and left it whirling. I liked my older sister Sally fine, but the idea of her husband ordering me along every inch of our 2,000-mile trek, well, I marched out to the tanning shed and got right to the point. Pa, Ma says you're having me ride with Sally and Roland on the trip. That's right. Pa lowered a rack of cowhides into the stinking bath. I felt conscious of my older brother Amos straddling a bench in the corner, hearing this, pretending not to as he worked the hair off a hide with a wooden scraper. Pa, I'm sorry to say it, but I don't get along with Roland. My father turned and leveled a look at me. And I'm not sorry to say Roland Chambers is about as fine a son-in-law as a man could ask. His neatly trimmed white beard was speckled with hickory bark stains. If you can't get along, Missy, I have to wonder if maybe it's something about you. I opened my fist and started pulling apart the wad of wool I'd still been clutching. I didn't see anything bad about him. He's just bossy, that's all. Pa and Amos shared a smirk. Folks might say the same about you, Pa pointed out. Well then, I said right into it, is it really such a good idea to put 2 bossy people in the same wagon all the way to Oregon? Wiping his hands on his leather apron, Pa crossed his arms over his chest and leaned back, studying me. You can count, right? We'll have 5 wagons. We'll have 22 people, counting the new babies. Think on it. More than 5 of us kings leaning to the headstrong side. See how that shapes out? I cut my eyes at Amos. Yes, I saw. Some wagons were bound to have people at odds. But it wasn't fair. In this match, I didn't stand a chance. Between a grown man and a 17-year-old girl, it was clear who'd forever have the final say. I'd rather have you bossing me, I said, pouting. My father I was used to. My father I knew how to get around. Look, honey, I've done all the figuring on it and tried to divide folks up the way I think best. Sally's going to need your help with those babies. He turned back to the hide. But, Pa, Levisa, he waited, making sure I wasn't going to talk back. This is how I planned it, and that's that. Well, what Pa said went. This we all knew. To him, careful planning fell somewhere between a fine art and a religious observance. And if me riding with my brother-in-law had already been set down as part of his sacred agenda, there was absolutely no use in me standing there suffering the stench of the tanning bath one more minute. I turned on my heel and flounced out. Do mark how I had misgivings at the very beginning. It ought to be plain I didn't go into this with any design. My only feelings as I left the tanning shed that day back in Carroll County, Missouri, were annoyance and resignation. I'd spoken my piece, now I'd have to do my duty, minding my father as any decent daughter would. And that's all there was to it.